So we're going to take another full self-driving ride on version 12.3.6, leaving from the area of the Kissimmee Airport down to the area of Poinciana, a little bit south. So I'll go ahead and activate. It's raining off and on this morning with some thunderstorms in the area, so the roads are kind of wet. If you haven't seen it, check out the auto park video that I posted a couple days ago. This time it actually did the parallel parking 100% correctly, while on 12.3.5 it only was successful about 25% of the attempts. The back end parking to perpendicular spaces was perfect as usual. Towards the end of this video, we're going to find out if Tesla fixed the moving barricade problem, where it would drive right into a barricade rather than giving it time to open, such as when you enter the neighborhood. Some people have noticed that it took a while for the auto park to complete. At least in my video, I tried to give it the worst case possibility, pulling as close to the parking space as possible so that the car would have to readjust the position of the car prior to being able to back into a space or parallel park. Obviously, if your goal is to save time, you can help the car out by pre-positioning the car in a more favorable position, in which case the whole process is much quicker. It's 11:28 in the morning here in Kissimmee. I'm listening to a station on TuneIn called Ibiza Global Radio, which is mostly electronic music. We'll see if YouTube allows this one through or gives a copyright strike. If it gives a copyright strike, I'll cut out the audio and do voiceover. This sort of music is pretty good when you're multitasking, because you can actually be getting work accomplished without getting too distracted. If you don't know, Ibiza is an island in the Mediterranean that belongs to Spain. This particular station has a mix of English and Spanish, depending on who the DJ is. Up ahead, we're going to be making a left turn onto another 4-lane road. Pretty big intersection. They've recently reworked the intersection to put a partition between the two left turn lanes and the through lanes. This frequently is causing confusion to human drivers. And in previous versions of the full self-driving, sometimes the car would fail to get over into the left turn lanes. It would end up missing the turn altogether because of this. So we'll see how it does today. We'll give the bigger screen view so you can see what the computer's thinking, what it's looking at. This was a pretty good idea because it makes it a little bit easier for the driver to have confidence that the car is paying attention to what it should pay attention to. For those of you not familiar, the car pays attention to every object it thinks that could move or become an obstacle, including cars, bicycles, wheelchairs, animals, pedestrians, etc. And it does pay attention to traffic cones as well, and more recently even birds in the road, collections of trash in the road, and speed bumps. and gates at the entrance to neighborhoods or exit to neighborhoods. For every object that might move or that does move, it makes a prediction as to how they're going to behave, but then constantly scans to verify that they're really doing what the prediction suggests they will do, since, as we know, humans are pretty unpredictable. So we just moved into a left turn lane. And this is the left turn lane, not for this intersection, but for the next one. So far, this is the correct action. And it's stopping at the line, but we have a green light. Maybe it doesn't want to block the intersection. Well, heck, I want to block the intersection. So let's see what happens. But actually, that is a feature of full self-driving, is that it will tend to leave crossing streets open when the traffic ahead is not moving. So I was a bad guy to push the accelerator pedal then. I could have just waited because I forgot that it had that behavior. It's easy for human drivers to wind up in the wrong lane after coming through this double left turn intersection. So we need to watch the cars off to the right here. And it correctly handled it. And the human driver did too, for a change. We're recording today using a Hero GoPro 12 or GoPro Hero 12 camera with the Media Mod package, which gives an external microphone as well as connections for charging, which are operating off battery now. And I'm shooting in 4K mode because when you shoot in 5K mode, the unit overheats within 20 minutes and shuts itself off. So for the first time, it asked for me to touch the steering wheel. I have the camera mounted via suction cup to the glass sunroof right in front of and a little bit to the right of my face, which partially blocks the interior camera, though it can see my eyes, or at least it can see my sunglasses. I'm going to increase the maximum speed because people behind me are getting impatient. Speed limit is 45, so I just set it up to 53. So the only intervention so far is me pushing on the accelerator when the car stops short of a large intersection before the last green light, but it could not proceed because there was a car stopped in front due to traffic. It put a right turn signal like it was going to change lanes, but changed its mind when the car behind decided to pass. Normally it'll give up the fast lane if it sees a car behind you accelerating, and that just happened again, so it's changing over to that right lane, even though we have a left turn coming up ahead in 2.5 miles. Just trying to be friendly. And just hit the turn signal again to go to the left lane. We're on the average assertiveness now and not chill mode as I've been using previously. And in average or aggressive mode, it does change lanes more frequently to gain whatever advantage it can. Okay, just ask for slight turning pressure on the wheel. That's the second time this drive. So I have the maximum speed set at 54, the speed limit is 45, but the car is driving 51. There's another touch the wheel message. It's kind of random sometimes. Sometimes it'll go 15 minutes with no need to touch, and other times it'll do it every minute or two. In any case, it was driving a little slower than the speed limit because there was a car about a block ahead, presumably driving slower than the speed limit. 0.7 miles to our left turn. Just asked me to touch the wheel again. Who knows what the algorithm is now? Like I said, it seems kind of random sometimes. So it'll certainly ask you to touch the wheel if it thinks you're using your phone or something, which I'm not. So we're coming up on our left turn, and there is a left turn lane. And this left turn does not have a traffic light. And there's already somebody in the island area coming out of the neighborhood. But there's nobody blocking our way, so it should just proceed on across. So there's a security gate we need to pass through. Visitors on the left with a guard, and residents on the right with a sticker. I do have a sticker, so I'm going to go ahead and tell it to go to the right lane. And there's a barricade and a card reader, so let's see what happens. Earlier versions would run right into the barricade if you let it. So I got my foot on the brake just in case. There's a small speed bump. Okay, it sees the speed bump. And nope, I don't think it saw it because it was going to hit it, so I hit the brake. So that was the first intervention. Didn't stop for a barricade. So I can re-enable. So it was mostly a good ride. The first intervention was when it came up to this barricade, which was about to open, but I don't think it was going to open fast enough to prevent a collision. It did slow down for the speed bump, but not for the skinny barricade. A fence usually presents a broader target, and it slows down better for that. There's a fence leaving the neighborhood, or actually a gate that slowly opens, but it will wait on that gate to open, but it did not wait for the barricade, so I went ahead and reported that to Tesla. So until next time, see you later. Hopefully the next video will show the next version of full self-driving. Bye-bye.